And there it is, guys. We have our final shot. We took this space from looking like this to looking like this, all in. What is up, guys? So I'm just getting ready to rebuild my studio. This old farmhouse, I had to take the whole thing down because we need to use the room for something else. And so I thought I'd just take you guys with me behind the scenes as I put together my YouTube studio where I film all my YouTube videos, and I also use the space to produce some content for other people. So to start with, I'm going to go ahead and start moving some things around, rearranging things, and getting the backdrop set up. Alrighty, so I got this frame for my backdrop up. This is just a cheap, like $80, $90 frame off of Amazon. For the backdrop, it's a 12-foot frame because I wanted to have it wide enough that I could film fairly wide at a desk or whatever setup I have and still be able to fit it all in the background. And then it can go up to 10 feet high, but we can only get it about 7 feet because of this beam right here. So that's where it is. And so now, as you can see, I have a whole pile of these little A clamps, and we're going to be using those to attach the backdrop to the frame. Here's the backdrop that we have. It's just a nice mottled gray backdrop. This is actually not the backdrop that I usually use. Usually I have a wood backdrop on here. I'm just putting that one on because that's what someone wanted to use for something that I'll be producing for them. So let's go ahead and get that all clipped up. Alrighty, so now we've got our backdrop stretched on the frame here pretty well, but it still has some wrinkles in it. So to fix that, we have this right here, our little clothes steamer. So steaming the background went well, got out most of the crinkles and wrinkles. There's still a few that just wouldn't quite come out, but hopefully once we throw it out of focus a little bit with f1.8 lens, that won't be too much of a problem. So next up, we need to get a table in here. Alrighty, so this is the table. It's about a 60 by 30 fake wood table, super heavy. I think the whole thing's probably about 100 pounds. And I just happened to know where I could get a hold of one of these tables to use, so it didn't end up costing me anything. So now that we have the basic setup of this table and the backdrop all in place, now we'll go ahead and start working on the lighting, placing some lights, blanking out these windows over here. Hey, wasp, get out of here. Ow, 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 away. So to block out the window right here, I'm just using a cheap moving blanket from Harbor Freight. They're like $5 or $6 for this big blanket. And because they're so cheap, they're just super useful for all kinds of things. Blocking light, absorbing sound, blocking sound, just creating any kind of barriers you need. So super useful things to have around your studio. So now that we've blocked out the light from outside coming through the windows so we can control our light, now we can start placing our lights in here. So first of all, we're gonna put our key light here in place right about so. This is Godok's ULC150. It's a really great light, has a passive cooling system, which means it doesn't have any fan in it, so it doesn't make any noise while you're recording, doesn't mess up your audio with some kind of a hum, so I really like it for that. I got this for about $200 on sale. Usually they cost about twice that much, but I got it on a really good deal, and I absolutely love this light, my favorite mono light. So on this light, we're going to be using just a basic 36-inch, I think, dome. And that will just help to spread out the light, make it a lot softer. So we're going to want to put this light about, I just unplugged the light. So we're just going to put this light up a little bit so it's a little bit higher than our subject will be. We'll put it about 45 degrees off axis of the subject here. So now that we have our key light in place, next thing we'll do is put in a backlight, and for that we're going to use another 150 watt mono light. This one is a Nan light FS150. You can get these for about $200 or sometimes cheaper on sale, but they're just really great, solid, relatively cheap mono lights. And we'll go ahead and plug this in. We have a reflector on this one to control the amount of spill that we get from the light a little bit. And so we'll just go ahead and get that pointed roughly at where our subject is going to be there behind the table, and then we'll just lock that in. So now if we look at our shot here, you can see that I'm relatively well lit for my key light there, and I have some good light coming from my backlight back here to kind of give me a little bit of accent rim light. But as you can see, the background is pretty dark, so we're gonna fix that. So for lighting up the background, I'm using a couple of these Neewer 660 LED panels. You can get a set of 2 of these for I think somewhere around 150 bucks. They are great just for extra lights to do whatever, light up a background, or just use as accent lights, or even as key lights in some circumstances, backlights. I use them all the time. And all these lights I have on these just cheap Neewer, and I think some of them are Amazon Basics, light stands. They're not the sturdiest light stands out there, but I've never had a problem with them, and they cost only like 20-30 bucks for 2 of them. So to me, it's not really worth spending 2 or 3 times as much for something that does the same thing, but might be a little bit sturdier. And the next thing to set up is audio. So for audio, what we have here is a Rode VideoMic NTG on a boom pole that I made out of a broken tripod leg, actually, which is then attached to a light stand here. And then I just have the 3.5mm audio cable running out of that and over here and into the camera. That way I just have my audio going directly into the camera, don't have any external recorders to sync up, just makes post-production a lot simpler. Then I have the camera here on the teleprompter. I use a teleprompter for most of my videos just because it makes it a lot easier to say the right thing the first time and not have to do a bunch of retakes. It also just helps you make the content more concise and high quality rather than possibly forgetting things or just rambling on and on. This teleprompter here is a GVM, Great Video Maker teleprompter. I don't think I'd recommend that one. I'd actually recommend getting the Glide Gear one, but this is just what I got, and it does a decent job. And then I just have a cheap generic Android tablet that I got off of Amazon for about 60 bucks that I'll stick in here to run the teleprompter app off of, and that way I have a bigger screen than my phone and I don't have to always pull some other device when I want to film. And I have that teleprompter here on a tripod. This is just some random Vanguard tripod, but I have a Manfrotto 502 head on it. Really great, solid tripod head. Works much better than just having a ball head because it's only locked to panning and tilting, so you don't always have to worry about it wonking around to the side. And then as far as the camera, right now I have my 90D on here, but usually I have my R6 Mark II on it, which is what I'm filming on right now. And then for the lens, I usually have a Sigma Art 18-35 on it, and that just gives you a nice wide but not too wide field of view and nice shallow depth of field. And I'll usually have my camera hooked up to this little 6-inch HDMI monitor. FieldWorld HDMI monitor, costs about 150 bucks. And I just have this monitor here so that I can see myself while I'm filming, so I'm not completely flying blind as far as what I look like, what the whole shot looks like. And then I have it on top of this little Canon Rebel G old film camera that I got from Goodwill for 10 bucks, and I figured, why not use it to hold up my monitor? So let's go ahead and put the camera on the teleprompter and see what the setup looks like. And there it is, guys. We have our final shot. We took this space from looking like this to looking like this. And of course, we could do a lot more. We could light up the background with different colors or add different props to the frame. And you can find links to all the stuff that I used to build out this studio in the description of this video. But that is a basic look at my studio setup that you can set up just about anywhere in any kind of space that's large enough to hold it and get really great shots. And if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more behind the scenes content like this, or you can check out Flying Filmmaker, where I share drone tutorials and reviews. And until next time, keep on creating.